former Disney Channel star, was charged with sending explicit pictures of himself to a 13-year-old girl. But Kyle claims that this was nothing more than an extortion attempt.
First off,
Soon as he said first off, I knew my boy was lying. Kyle Massey is another classic example of our childhood nostalgia getting destroyed by adult criminal behavior, because this one is unbelievable. Kyle was introduced
Yo, chill, I'm just kidding. What the
the Nickelodeon sitcom Zoe 101.
Yo, I'm sorry, I hate to pause and shit, but I really just gotta say it. Like, I can't watch these shows the same after, like, Dan Schneider and after this Epstein shit. It's just, like, all fucking slop.
Nice shooting.
yeah, Zoe. You're not gonna act right. Yeah, my mom.
Wait, it's Raven. That's so Raven. Yo, honestly, one of the best shows ever.
I was like, I don't want him ruining the chances for my son that can do the right thing,
So
right?
you acting crazy.
Yeah,
okay.
I was acting crazy. But they ended up pulling me in the audition. I ended up getting the job. And that
From
was...
your brother? You took it from your brother?
Took it from my brother.
Hilarious. I didn't know that.
Crazy.
The family moved from Atlanta to Los Angeles, where both brothers continued trying out for film and television. Disney Channel show Even Stevens, but instead, the executive producers of Even Stevens were working on a show called That's So Raven, and decided to give Kyle a role on that show, which ended up being one of the most successful shows in Disney Channel history.
Show?
That's So
Everybody hates
Raven
Chris
follows
Fire.
Raven Baxter, a teen girl who has psychic visions that sometimes predict the future. The show had a repetitive and predictable formula, but it was
just
honestly
like me.
genius. Every episode would essentially start with Raven having a vision of something bad, dangerous, scary, or awkward that might happen in the future.
Yeah,
She would then spend the entire episode desperately trying to stop that outcome, only for her overreactions and interference to be the very thing that causes the vision to come true. But the reason why the show was so popular was less about the plot and more about Raven's chemistry with her best friends, Eddie and Chelsea.
For real, that's just so
with
funny.
her family, which included her younger brother Corey,
but for
played
real,
by
bro.
Kyle Massey. Corey is introduced as a clever, mischievous kid who is always plotting on how to make quick money.
Bro, Victorious and iCarly, one of the best shows produced by Pedophile.
Impress his friends or get one over on people.
That's a Raven!
Pedophile.
Mom? Dad?
If I see, yo, Dan Schneider, if I see you, oh my god, yo, if I see you,
Very
bro.
similar to the character of Megan on Drake and Josh, Corey is super confident, sometimes cocky.
For justice, need to torture them. Like, these guys need to be tortured, man. I listened to the audiobook for Pam from iCarly. I forgot her name. Jenna McCurdy. Me, my girl, and her entire family on the trip to Florida. Listen to the entire audiobook. She calls Dan Schneider the creator. She can't mention him by name. It just be ominous as one chapter talking about her mom, and the next chapter, the creator asked me to blah 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 blah. And I was like, brother, ominous as hell, yo.
Often believing he's outsmarted
Schneider.
Hey, Corey, what's with the snorkel? How do you breathe?
I don't. That's kind of the point.
Raven and Corey's sibling rivalry revolves around the two constantly teasing and undermining one another, which
pull up on Schneider, you're gonna need a diaper.
Sibling experience that is rarely shown on TV.
Why do you always have to follow me? I was using your big head to block out the sun.
The only thing that made Corey unrealistic as a character is that he was way funnier and more charismatic than a real-life younger brother.
Hand over the phone, worm.
Don't look at me, the boy is good.
And my nickname isn't Worm or Maggie, it's Dr. Love.
But despite Corey and Raven constantly bickering and fighting, they have deep familial, unconditional love for each other. That's So Raven was a massive hit from the beginning, debuting to 3.4 million viewers, which was higher than any Disney original series premiere at that time. I doubt any pedophile worked on this one. To grow drastically. Even a random episode deep into season 3 would secure as much as 5 million viewers. The show and cast were nominated for various awards over 30 times. They wrote books based around the show, sold video games, and even were nominated for 2 Emmys. After 100 episodes, Disney Channel executives pitched That's So Raven 2, which was going to be a show that follows Raven to college. But Raven had been working in the entertainment industry since she was 3 years old and wanted to retire by age 18. So she ultimately decided not to take on a new role, which forced the network to shift focus and develop a spinoff around Kyle Massey instead. But first, picture this. You're about to board a plane and you notice one of the engines is smoking. joke. There's a reason why Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting for the people for over 35 years. With over $30 billion recovered for their clients, firing more negligence, you deserve Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free.
I've never seen a YouTuber sponsored by
more information, you can go to Patrick. Corey in the House follows Corey Baxter as he leaves San Francisco and moves to Washington, D.C. to live in the White House. Corey's father, Victor Baxter, is hired as the personal chef to the President of the United States. As soon as he gets there, Corey waits getting into trouble, but the chaos is more ridiculous because they are inside the most powerful government building in the world.
And there's the steak.
Back up. I've got some work to do, okay? I am going to fix this with Krama Parum's old-timey Bahavian stain remover. A splash of yak milk.
Corey's plans usually clash with the strict rules and routines of presidential life, leading to comedic situations involving Secret Service agents and the presidential family.
He could lick my hand all day.
Hit the file.
While Corey in the House was not as popular nor culturally iconic as That's So Raven, it maintained solid. Sometimes it would rank as the network's most watched show for that week. The show was originally planned for 3 seasons. However, during the filming of a season 2,
hold on, he's swagged out, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I always wanted his hair. Yo, she's seen some things, bro. She can see through the pedophile.
In which
that's a fire shirt. Wait, that's a fire chef's little spot. Yo, it's like a that's fire. Wait,
Corey goes overboard on a large boat.
I'm sorry. I got the video play.
Because the boat was rented, the crew couldn't make the usual modifications to ensure safety while filming. The plan was for Kyle to say his lines at the edge of the boat, then a stunt person would step in to leap off the side of the boat and drop onto a stack of thick padded mats below. Instead, Kyle jumped over the edge of the boat himself. Kyle thought it would be really funny if he did the fall. When Kyle fell off the boat, he hit the mat at an angle, rolling off and smashing his head on the concrete soundstage floor. He was rushed to the hospital. Once medically cleared, Massey returned to shoot more episodes for the season, but the show would ultimately be canceled for other reasons. And that's because at this time, the 2007 and 8 Writers Guild of America strike began, where TV and film writers refused to work due to being paid scraps compared to the massive profits the studios were making. The strike lasted 100 days and brought Hollywood to a standstill. Television shows shut down production, seasons got shortened or canceled, and scripted TV mostly disappeared for months while reality shows rushed in to fill the gap. Corey in the House was one of those shows that essentially ended because of the strike. In the end, Disney Channel aired 34 episodes of the show, but now Kyle Massey's future
pay the people you pay the fails
in Hollywood was uncertain. Like many child stars, Kyle was too associated with his youthful, exaggerated, safe, Disney-like persona, making it difficult for studios to cast him or market him as an adult. In 2010, he competed on the 11th season of Dancing with the Stars, where he and professional partner Lacey Schwimmer finished as runners-up in the competition. Still eager for work, he ended up taking on more family-friendly type jobs, securing a role on a Disney animated series called Fish Hooks, where he voiced a fish named Milo. The show ran from 2010 to 2014, which was a consistent paycheck, but not exactly an illustrious Hollywood career. And like other former Disney stars, the press becomes thirsty for a shock-driven narrative. Leaked photos, exaggerated scandals, and rumors so they can say, remember this kid? Look how far they've fallen. Desperate for drama, rumors persisted that Kyle was dying from cancer. Kyle told E.T., overnight it was trending on Twitter that I'm dying of cancer. I want to say first, I do not have cancer, and I don't know where this inconsiderate and insensitive rumor originated from. And looking back on this, I think another reason why rumors were being spread about Kyle Massey was because of his developing
speaking of Massey, shout out to Thomas Massey. Facts.
Relationship with Justin Bieber. Justin and Kyle developed a bond over them both being famous since a very young age.
Why are you always so burnt?
I keep remembering.
I want to know.
Shut up, bro. I'm not burnt, nigga. Burnt niggas don't eat filet.
Justin was likely a huge help in launching Kyle's rap career.
These photos hit different, bro.
His acting career wasn't working out. He got roles
you gotta
in
see the art in the photos.
DVD films and TV
Wait,
shows.
yo, this is not a coincidence. July 3rd is my birthday, bro. Yo, what are the chances I'm watching a video that has my birthday in it? Think about, yo, one time I picked up juice in Universal Studios. I picked a juice and it had my birthday expiration, bro.
Shows like the superhero crime
It's
drama
faded.
Gotham,
We're supposed to be here right
as well as
now.
a recurring role
Facts.
in Cartoon Network's Mighty Magus Words. But Kyle still had the jovial, lovable kid persona and round baby face even as he aged into adulthood. And since he wasn't able to prove that he was all grown up on TV, he decided to pursue music. Up-hop tracks to SoundCloud where he raps about having sex with women and getting money.
Niggas, they see me, I forward my motion, I'm dropping these hits while they flopping. Yo, give me sloppy toppy.
Now I'm assuming that him
Wait, he got 444 tattoo. He got 444 tattoo on him.
Give me sloppy toppy.
Now, I'm assuming that him becoming essentially a part of Justin Bieber's entourage is what helped him get connected with very successful artists, because he had a relative amount of success in music. He produced a song called Hard Work for French Montana in 2015, as well as featured on a song called Syrup with Soulja Boy. Then again, the rapper lifestyle can come with its own set of risks, and Kyle and his brother Chris would find that out the hard way. Chris was also frequently posted up in the studio with rappers and producers. At this point, I'm not sure if he was actually making any music or if he was just in there for the lifestyle, but he was definitely entrenched in the music industry. And in November of 2014, Chris Massey was throwing a party at his penthouse apartment when he asked rapper Lil Twist to leave following an argument. Chris reportedly left, but returned roughly 30 minutes later with 4 other men and forced their way back inside. Once inside, they attacked Chris, reportedly beating him with brass knuckles, humiliating him, and stealing his wallet and cell phone. Chris required medical attention for his injuries, but denied speaking to the media. Chris was charged with 6 felonies, including burglary, battery, grand theft, criminal threats, and multiple counts of assault with a deadly weapon. He eventually pleaded no contest, but was sentenced to 1 year in jail in 2016, followed by probation.
It was now the mid-2010s,
and Kyle Massey was stuck in a situation most people can't relate to. His full-time job at this point seemed to be flying around the world with Justin Bieber, going to shows and concerts with him.
Holy shit.
At this point seethen to be flying around
these
the
images
world
are
with Justin
2015
Bieber,
as King Bach. Wait, what the fuck? And then what's this dude's name? Nash Greer? I forgot his name, bro. He had Vine. Yo, Vine was honestly
concerts with him, partying with rap.
Wait, Ray Shermard, Ear Drummers. Yo, that's Broski from fuck, I feel like his name is Milo.
Rappers and models, and witnessing the business deals Bieber was securing. Kyle was living the lifestyle of being extremely famous and successful, but as we know, he didn't have any current major film or TV roles to justify cozying up with the Kardashians, but rather that he was tagging alongside the biggest pop star of the 2010s. However, that almost changed in the summer of 2015 when Raven-Symoné and the original main cast of That's So Raven reunited in an appearance on The View. Notice how the interviewer asks what Kyle is working on, but he doesn't answer the question.
Actually, since That's So Raven, you went on to do a bunch of other shows, and you came in 2nd place on Dancing with the Stars. Which was like,
wait, that's fire.
So exciting. What are you
Wait,
working
that's
on
fire.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of different projects.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
People suspected that since the cast was reunited and Disney Channel was leaning into reboots after finding success with Girl Meets World, that maybe a That's So Raven reboot was coming. Even worse, he would also be accused of promising a 13-year-old girl that he could get her a role on that show and would be charged with sending explicit pictures of himself to that child. The victim, who wasn't named due to her age, claimed she met Kyle when she was 4 years old, meaning Kyle was 18 or 19 and 2 years removed from the end of Corey in the House. Interested in pursuing a career in entertainment, she remained in contact with him, and Massey became close with her and her family. He later suggested that she travel from Seattle, Washington, his girlfriend in LA. The girl and her mother say Kyle held himself out as a father figure to her, and their contact increased in November 2018 when the girl expressed interest in a role on the rebooted version of That's So Raven. Raven's Home was the official spin-off that premiered in the summer of 2017.
Who the fuck are these other people, bro?
followed a similar plot as the original. Raven Baxter is now an adult single mother living in Chicago with her twin children, Booker and Nia, who have inherited her psychic abilities. The show reunites Raven with her best friend Chelsea and her father Victor, along with appearances by many other familiar characters from the original series. However, Orlando Brown and Kyle Massey were left out. Massey told Perez Hilton, "As far as That's So Raven 2, I'm not really sure what part I will play in the show, if any. I spoke with Raven a few weeks ago, but we haven't officially secured anything yet. I would always be down to do a guest spot on her show. Raven can make it happen. Hell, who knows? I might have to bring Corey in the house back with a fake Donald Trump as president. You never know. Just know it's always a party when you get the gang back together." It was clear that Kyle Massey didn't just want this opportunity, he needed it. However, he would never get a role on Raven's Home, nor would he get a reboot of his own show, and maybe that's a good thing. Massey's contact with the underage victim increased heavily in November of 2018 because during that same month, the third season of Raven's Home planned on adding several new female characters ranging from 11 to 13 years old. Because Kyle had been a part of the original show, the alleged victim likely assumed that he had the connections necessary to help her get a role.
Wait, she's so chill,
contacted the girl's mother to invite the girl to stay with him and his girlfriend in Los Angeles so he could help her find an agent.
That's
However,
not how you wear
a
babe.
month later, he allegedly
you know somebody's weird when they don't know how to wear babe. What is this, bro? Mixing the purple with the blue? Are you stupid?
He could help her find an agent. However, a month later, he allegedly added the girl as a friend on Snapchat and shortly after sent her numerous explicit text messages, images, and videos. When the allegations went public, Massey firmly denied any wrongdoing. No child should ever be exposed to explicit materials, and I unequivocally and categorically deny any alleged misconduct. He stated that in early 2019, the plaintiff's attorneys demanded $1.5 million and threatened to go public and damage his career if he refused to comply. "My family and I reject this extortion attempt because I have faith that the legal process will reveal the truth." In response to the allegations, Kyle Massey's mother, Angel Massey, also took to social media to advocate for her son, using the hashtag #HeToo. Where's the justice for men? Women get to say stuff and do what they want and file lawsuits under Jane Doe. No, the mother's name is Kendra Andreas. My son's name is Kyle Massey. This is hashtag #HeToo. From there, Angel posted a few screenshots of
Yo, #HeToo is actually like, that's actually deep.
Coverage of the allegations against her son. Kyle Massey was accused of sending an inappropriate picture of his penis to a minor. The second image of this post, Kyle sent the picture to Miss Andreas. Her daughter's last name is different. Kendra Andreas is a liar. Angel appears to suggest that the explicit material that Kyle sent was directed to the teen girl's mother and not the child. But we wouldn't get any closure on this case until 2 years later when the allegations resurfaced again in June of 2021, when he was charged with 1 count of immoral communication with a minor. The felony charge was filed in King County, Washington. He responded in a statement through his attorney. It is unfortunate that Kyle Massey had to learn resurfaced in the state of Washington a year after their dismissal. Massey's team alleged that the accusers were attempting to use the Washington courts as a platform.
So what did the mom say? Because he's just lying? Imagine he's like, "No, tell your mom, I swear."
For revenge after losing the civil matter in California.
That don't sound right, though.
Legal team, Kyle was never properly served or notified about this charge by the court, which is why when he didn't show up for his arraignment on July 13th, a King County judge issued a $100,000 arrest warrant, drawing even more attention to the case. Public court records later indicated that the warrant remains active, but there are no publicly available records confirming that Massey was ever taken into custody on that warrant. He said,
just like Drake Bell did it, just like the other Disney stars ended up doing it because they were damaged the same way.
Time that they claimed they arrested me, I just so happened to be filming a TV show with the production timestamp in front of 200 witnesses. Basically, Massey is accusing the courts of lying and creating a fake arrest. According to Massey, he has never been provided booking photos, fingerprints, or jail documentation that would normally accompany an arrest. He said, after that, they basically used that fake arrest to get me my court date that I didn't show up to that got me to my warrant. Whether
That I didn't show up to. Why didn't you show up to, bro?
This reflects an error made by the courts, a miscommunication between agencies, or a corrupt system out to get him remains unclear. But this discrepancy became central to his defense. And in a shocking twist that nobody expected, Kyle actually claimed that he was the victim of abuse from the mother of the girl that was pressing charges against him.
That mother had an inappropriate relationship with me since I was a kid, when I was 15. Now,
that changes things. Yo, is he telling the truth? I feel like he is.
now I can sit here and I can like look at you and say it without breaking down.
Yo, if that's true, she's a demon. Yo.
But you gotta understand, this was like one of the hardest moments in my life because the person that took advantage of me when I was a child is now painting me as the predator.
According to his lawyer, Ariel Mitchell, Massey met the mother
he's
Kendra
low-key telling the
in
truth.
California in 2007, 2 years before the mother claims that they met and when the actor was just 15. That Massey portrayed himself as a father figure to her child are misleading, arguing that it was Miss Andreas who wanted him to fill that role. Even in the police statement, the mother says Mr. Massey was promising her, the mother, to marry her, the mother, and for them to move. The lawyer also referenced a potential witness who claimed the mother said that she was trying to get that Disney money and eventually have a baby with the actor. Kyle defended his relationship with the daughter by claiming he had a history of mentoring and supporting aspiring performers.
She's the
and I did it
pedophile.
just out of the grace of my heart, just because I know how much I've been helped along my path.
Both
so as far as this girl, the whole me helping her situation with...
I bet you this situation is true, and I bet you he was trying to do some weird shit with the daughter too.
was just another person that I was trying to help. Massey reiterated that he has
been
been
famous
since the age of 8. He said that when he was a 16-year-old superstar and among the most famous African Americans in the country, he frequently met 12-year-olds with dreams, adding that many of those individuals later found success, which he attributed to his guidance. But then his story slightly changed, going from "this is absolute nonsense extortion" to "well, it was an accident." Kyle acknowledged accidentally sending the daughter what his lawyer described as an inadvertent disclosure that was not meant for the child. They said there was some accidental communication where there was something sent, and then right after it was "that wasn't for you" type of situation, but that was it. Besides that, Kyle does have a somewhat decent defense here. The mother claims Kyle met her daughter when she was 4. Well, how else
do you accidentally... You know what I'm saying?
would he meet a 4-year-old? Not online, that's for sure. Kyle claims that the mother pursued him, groomed him to be her partner and a father figure to the child when he was also
that mom might
underage,
be like a producer or some
not
shit.
That hard to
Who's
believe,
the mom,
considering
dude?
So, yeah, it is possible that some crazy lady saw Kyle Massey, a 15-year-old Disney star, and decided to groom him and think, oh, he's probably rich and loaded and we're going to have a family one day. It's possible. Regardless of that, Kyle initially said this entire situation was baseless extortion, then admits that he was not only communicating with this minor consistently over the course of many years, but also admitting to sending explicit material to that child, but just trying to say it was an accident and intended for the mother. So even in this messy case that's full of he said, she said, there's still an admission that something happened that never should have happened in the first place. But it's been 5 years since he received this charge, and the case against Massey hasn't been resolved, and an outcome has not been confirmed. During this time, Kyle continued to flood his Instagram with pictures of him hanging out with celebrities, rappers, and internet influencers. Although he didn't post much with his longtime buddy Bieber, it seemed like he had developed enough friendships in LA or maintained just enough fame to be in the mix with new stars, but his career was far from thriving. He struggled to get anything more than an extra role on a
Kendra Andreas.
He did secure a recurring role on a 2021 sitcom called Millennials that was canceled after 2 seasons. But after these allegations hit, he has not had a job in Hollywood, and he hasn't posted on social media in years. However, his old co-star Orlando Brown was not going to let him forget about what he did.
Okay, did you go to court yet, nigga? for showing your to that 14-year-old? Because you'll never be me, nigga. You need to go to court first and handle your problems and fix the things you do with your little dick. Okay.
These days, the only time you see Kyle on the internet is the occasional podcast, but I also noticed that he drops music consistently but doesn't tell anyone about it or promote it. One of
Trumpet? Yo.
his more recent...
Bro, what was I gonna say? Dude, just thinking about... I can vividly remember me watching That's So Raven, and I'm just like... I can vividly, like, low-key, like, jump into that state right now. And to... compare it to like right now,
songs was called Trumpet, celebration song for Donald Trump being reelected.
I can't lie, they want that Trumpet. You know the vibes. Joe Biden lied.
Kyle Massey.
Wait. That was kind of tough. Wait. He said, Joe Biden lied. Wait. Did I make that up?
Song for Donald Trump being reelected.
I can't lie, they want that Trumpet. You know the vibes. Joe Biden lied.
Kyle Massey.
Yo, bro, am I like real?
He was another Disney kid who grew up inside for maturity, and as a result, he led a life where he failed to grow up at best and committed horrific
Joe
crimes
Biden
against children at worst. Whether Kyle Massey, the result is the same. A once childhood icon's reputation is now permanently destroyed. The craziest part is the same thing happened to his That's So Raven co-star Orlando Brown, who suffered one of...
We're clip, bro. My brain is actually mush.